Welcome back to Nix Vids. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the Kawasaki Z900 2018 A2 edition. Okay, in this video I'm going to go over a little about the specs of the motorcycle, my opinion on it, and disadvantages and good things about it, and also addressing the fact that this one is A2 legal. Okay, so the standard Z900 produces 125 brake horsepower. This, if you know anything about UK A2 licensing laws, you can't restrict a 125 brake horsepower bike. 90 and under is the limit, because at the end of the day you can't go below half in the restriction. So if the brake's 80, you can't go. If the brake was 100, you couldn't restrict it because it needs to be below the 45 brake horsepower for the A2 license. So what Kawasaki have done has decided, actually I'm going to go this way, have decided that they're going to tune the bike from factory to give it 90 brake horsepower. I'm assuming with a little adjustment to maybe the valves, or oh god damn it, I've no idea the technical side of it, probably mainly ECU, but to do that then allows it, because when it leaves the factory it comes out with 90 brake horsepower, that allows it to be then A2 restricted even further down to 45. So this bike has actually almost been restricted from 125 brake horsepower down to 45 for the A2. And I'm still not undecided whether or not it works. I feel like personally that it's, I'm not going that way, there's too much traffic. I feel like personally it's quite a loss of power. Do you know what I mean? This bike is rather heavy for the little 45 brake horsepower it actually has. So it has that downside in that fact, and if you accelerate, it does have that almost like trying a bit too hard, and it gets up to about the 7,000 revs when the restriction kicks in, which is a shame. But you can just tell this bike without the restriction would be insane. It would be so good, and I'd love to have a go on one that wasn't restricted, and I cannot wait, because my friend gets his full A license in a few months, and once it is, I will be able to be straight back on this to have a go and see the real difference. The bike is an inline 4, so it does have a little bit of build up before you get that power. But again, it's hard to tell with the restriction. It might not be as bad without. I'm talking about the A2 restriction version, which is this one here. Okay, so this bike has ABS, because it's a modern bike. Most bikes nowadays have to have ABS. It's quite simple, there's no modes, it's very much plain, simple motorcycle. ABS, keep it legal, and that's pretty much it. See, this bike doesn't feel like it has the greatest handling. It's not terrible, but sometimes I do feel it fighting you round the corners, but I generally think that maybe is because I'm not used to it. That's simple as that. Once you get used to it and my body position is maybe a bit more sporty, I think this bike would be fantastic in the corners, honestly. It's meant for that high speed corner taking up, I think, rather than just tootling around town. Okay, in regards to the brakes on this motorcycle, they are very good, to be fair. I feel the ABS on my XSR 700, when I had that, the ABS on the rear would come on very quickly. I don't feel like this is as bad. That was all brakes without the ABS coming on there. That was all back brake, no ABS came on, and I think that's fantastic. It doesn't lock up either, so you know you're still maintaining that grip whilst braking. Okay, though this bike does have quite a lot of torque, the reason because where the power band is, because it is generally, I think, just above, just as you hit 6 and above that section there, that's when the power band kicks in. But with the A2 restriction, you are almost just below that power band, and it's a real shame. But I feel like that could be the reason why it doesn't feel as torquey as I'd like it to be. But if you do, like, that's first, pin in the throttle, and I'm not the front isn't lifting. It's jolting forward a lot, but it lifts up maybe 2 inches at most, and that's nothing that the police would have a go at, which is, to be honest, a little boring. But I feel like that's just because of the weight of the bike. It is a heavy bike. It's around 200 kilos. It's a lot for this bike. That is a lot of weight for only 45 brake horsepower. So that might be the reason why. I think it is just the A2 restriction. The fact that when you accelerate, all the power goes forward rather than up, you're getting that power down. Do you see what I mean? The power is pushing you forwards rather than up. So yeah, what we're going to do now, we're about to head onto the motorway. I'm going to head down the A3 for a little bit, hit some of the country roads, and then head back to drop the bike back off to my friend. So as we come onto this slip road in a second, I'm going to give it some beans for as long as I can, till probably just around the speed limit, and then we'll let off. Please bear in mind as I accelerate that this is a restricted bike, so it isn't giving it all of it. Do you see what I mean? It's not getting everything. So let's drop it to second. Let's go in this one here. From 30 to 70, go. Okay, there we go, that'll do. So it's not, the reason it may have seemed like I was short shifting is you never feel like you're getting power, and it's not, I don't think it's the bike, I think it's the restriction, and it sucks that in the UK we have to deal with these kind of restrictions. What I did notice on this bike is, as I came onto it, I looked over my shoulder quite happily to see what was happening, and I'm not feeling the wind. There is no real visor on this, but I'm not feeling it. Now, as I'm cruising down the motorway now, I'm going to just go over the fact that the bike is very comfortable for a sports bike. I am relaxed, I'm not uncomfortable, my knees are locked in. I'm 6 foot as well, so I'm not tall, but I'm about average, I think, well, just above average. And the seating position on this is very comfortable. It's got a nice, not super soft, but soft seat on it, and it's got a nice soft seat on it, and where your legs are sitting on the bike is very comfortable. I can flat foot this bike quite happily, which therefore means that due to the weight, if it was to go over, I'm more likely to hold it up. My friend that owns this bike is a little bit shorter than me, and he's had some close calls with the weight of the bike, almost dropping it and things like that, because it is 200 kilos at the end of the day. Personally, I really enjoy riding this motorcycle because it's a very smooth ride. The throttle's very smooth, it's never lurchy. It's almost looks like a very aggressive naked bike, but it feels like almost a leaned over touring bike. Do you see what I mean? Or it's just got that, the power's there, but it just goes, are you sure, are you sure? Okay, here we go, let's have a bit of power. That's the thing, again, it's just about that 6k mark is when the power really starts kicking in. Okay, what I realised I haven't done is recorded a bit of exhaust audio for you without the wind noise around it. So I'm going to go down here, just pull over on the left, get off the bike, rev the bike a little bit for you, let you hear what it sounds like. Please bear in mind that this bike has an SC project, I think that's what it is, yes, an SC project exhaust on it. So it does sound a little different to the stock exhaust, but to be honest, I've heard the stock exhaust before this SC project one went on, and to be honest, it was quite a nice exhaust. To be fair, it was a lovely sounding exhaust, even as stock. It's an ugly thing, don't get me wrong. It is disgusting. A big metal lump attached to the side of the bike. Feel free to have a little Google at that. But I really liked it, to be honest. I thought it was nice. It was a nice sound. The main difference between the stock exhaust and the SC is the volume, and it's just a bit throatier. I think that's the way to describe it. So if I get off, I'll stand here for you. I don't have a technical, good microphone, but this should give you some idea. So yeah, the SC Project exhaust is gorgeous, and it does fit the bike very well compared to the big chunky bit of metal that was sticking on here at one point. It was just grotesque, it was horrible. I do recommend getting aftermarket exhaust for it. Okay, so this bike wants to be ridden in the low gears. If you let it go too high, if you're in too much of a higher gear, you're not going to have as much fun as you would if you were in the lower gears. It's not too torquey to have to worry about losing the back in the corners. Obviously I'd still be aware of it, it's a possible thing on all bikes. But if you stay in the second and third gear, you can have quite a lot of fun. I think that's what I'm grasping whilst riding this bike. I feel like it's an all-round motorcycle. It's not meant for just pinning it all the time. It's not meant for cruising, it's not meant for touring, it's not meant for motorway. It's meant for a little bit of everything. It does everything pretty well, obviously apart from off-roading, but we won't take that into account. There we go, hopped it. Hop the bridge. Yeah, so it's not an off-road bike, but it is a good all-round motorcycle. Okay, so this is a road I use to do wheelies on for a video, because it's a quiet road out of the way. Nobody really comes down it. It's quite good in my mind, and typically, as I say that, there's 100 cars. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just give it my all and see if I can get this bike to come up a little bit. I see. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to try it. First gear, which is a bit sketchy, but on such a heavy bike, I think it's all right. 25 miles an hour. There you go, yeah. That was about 1.5 to 2 feet, so it'll do a decent wheelie, but considering that wasn't full, but that was a decent amount of throttle, there was no risk of flipping it. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but there was no real risk. I just wanted to show that to you and see, just to show you how much the weight of the bike takes away from that torque, because there is a lot of torque and there's also a lot of weight, so it just eats away at it just a little bit, unfortunately. Okay, so we've pretty much gone over a lot of the motorcycle. The next question is, would I recommend it to someone looking into it as a full license bike or as an A2 license bike? As an A2 license bike, probably not. I feel like the weight of it is too much for someone who's gone from a very light 125 to a large A2 bike. This is a very heavy motorcycle. Most 125s are just over 100 kilos, not even that, some of them are less. But this is almost 200, so it's almost double the weight. So yes, I wouldn't recommend it for an A2 rider, though it is still a very enjoyable A2 bike. If you've ridden other A2 bikes, I feel like that you would be alright, just because you're used to a slightly heavier motorcycle. It's the weight that honestly worries me for new riders or new A2 riders. That's the only thing. It's something to take in mind, bear in mind. As an A licensed motorcycle, fuck it. It would be fantastic. You know for a fact that you could get a lot of fun out of these corners with the power that is there, and would be even more there without the restriction in. It's a fantastic motorcycle. Super mode. I'm on a sports bike, don't stick your leg out. Okay, so I'd love to say thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this helped you make your decision on whether or not you want to purchase a Z900, or if you just enjoyed watching it. Thank you for watching it, I really appreciate it. If you'd like more of these, let me know in the comments. Give me a like, subscribe, whatever you fancy. The traditional old YouTuber way. So, thank you once again for watching Nix Vids. I'll see you soon. I was just riding back to my friend's house and I realised the perfect point of where to wheelie, like what makes it work. So, I just wanted to show you that to you. I wouldn't normally mess around too much with my mates' bikes, but I just wanted to, well, yeah, wheelie. So, first gear, 20 miles an hour. So yeah, little wheelie. Thank you again, thank you very much for watching Nix Vids. I'm having a blast as always. I'll see you later.